we're here in a factory in Havant. We've been asked to come in by a manager who had a productivity problem last year. Thinks that the problem is due to overheating in warm spells in both spring and summer, and is concerned about staff attendance and general productivity dips. So we need to do a survey for him.
Yes, I believe he said he's done an analysis. He thinks he knows what his issues are. He thinks he knows where the problems are in the factory. But I think we'll start from zero.
Yeah.
And decide ourselves what the problem is and where we need to go. So the first thing we like to do is stand in the middle of the factory and just get used to our environment and go from there.
Just get a feel for the activities going on and if there are any obvious constraints of the building or any working methods that are happening which may cause people to feel a bit more uncomfortable elsewhere.
So by standing in the middle of the factory, having a look around to see what's the layout of the factory, what the building structure is, where can you feel heat from the middle of the factory, gives us an idea of what we're looking at from the outset.
I think the building's a fairly typical factory that you'd find in the UK, probably built 30 or so years ago, but it's been re-roofed, so it's got a modern roof, but it's a big open environment. There doesn't appear to be any particular local processes, so it's not like a foundry or a smelting plant or anything like that. It's a general assembly factory.
So we're standing here beginning of February. Obviously the client would like to look at something now, so he's got it in time for the warm period that they suffered last year. So have a look around, see what you can see. Straight away, if we look up on the roof, there's a significant amount of roof lights. So straight away in the back of your mind you're thinking, okay, you're going to get some good solar gain during the warmer months.
Also noticed, Brad, that there's a south wall which is fairly glazed as well, so I should imagine that's picking up quite a lot of the radiation from the sun too.
From where we're standing, I can't immediately see a lot of potential process heat gains. There's obviously saws, motors, that's light, there's a welding shop behind us there, which may give some certain process heat gains, but just from an initial view, it looks like our problems are going to be external heat gains rather internal. But we don't really know that until we do a proper survey.
I think, as Brad's already highlighted, there may be some local issues, welding fume, maybe dust coming off saws, that kind of thing. I noticed the machining centre in the corner, so there could be some oil or something. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the feeling is it's a fairly open space, so it's probably a solar radiation issue, and probably then not enough air movement or something like that, because the work does appear to be quite a physical, manual labouring going on. Not a lot of standing, not a lot of sitting around. I think people seem to be quite active.
Yes, yeah. So I think the next phase in what we do is obviously we take some notes from what we've seen here. We then start with a proper survey which looks at physical dimensions and gaining information about the process, the kit, and where the heat gains are likely to be.
So we've completed our general measurement of the building. Always worth checking dimensions just to get the layout against plans. They're not always absolutely spot on.
We've checked all the lighting. All you need to make a call there is obviously will the lighting be on in the summer. Check the number of people. We've counted and measured roof lights, the roof dimensions, so we can get an idea of solar heat gains.
Looks at the machines to get a feel of their electrical load, but as you can see, it's quite evident the machines don't run at all times, so that would probably lead us to slightly overestimate any loads.
We've also done an initial view on the noise levels within the factory. When you come to doing your design, you need to take into account whether you're going to increase the noise levels in the factory and also any noise breakout.
We are in a residential area, so that's quite a critical concern. We don't want to cause more complaints for the owners of the building after we put our solution in.
So the next step is, because we can't get individual heat gains from the machinery, is how do we work out our total heat gain in the building? And the process we use is called environmental balance. Before, it's very difficult to pick up all the heat gains off the individual machines. They're not necessarily running at 100% of the time. So another tool technique to work out your heat gains in your building is environmental balance. And what we're doing here is we're effectively measuring the velocity of air, the volume of air going in and out of the building, and also looking at the comparisons in external and internal temperatures as well.
Okay, so as we were saying earlier on, that we were concerned about the noise from the machinery when it's operating. So what we decided to do is we get our noise expert to come in and do a much more detailed survey, taking lots of readings so that we're then able to go away and calculate whatever noise might break out from the building and cause annoyance to neighbours.
Now that we've collected all our heat gains, we know what the issues could be in terms of solar heat gain. When we did our initial walk around the factory, we saw a couple of areas that we could be concerned about that need individual attention. One of these areas is brazing and welding, where we may have to look at some local fume extraction and maybe some fresh air inlet as well.
Okay, so we've spent a few hours now going around the factory and gathered all the information we need.
Yeah. Really what we do now is we go away, we've collected heat gains, size of building, lighting, people, the roof lights, all the information we need to be able to calculate our end heat gain. And we take that away, do some calculations, and then really we come back to the client with some proposals in a couple of weeks' time.
And I think it's important that when you're doing that process you're looking at a range of solutions, both in terms of technology and budget, so that the client's got as many options as possible.
Yes. I think what's become apparent today is, the client thought that maybe his problems were an internal heat gain, but it's become quite obvious that it's an external heat gain issue. So we know that this is the solar gain giving us a problem, and so when you have hot summer days it's even more of an issue. But we did find a couple of problem areas.
As often is the case, we've seen that noise issue, and we've also seen some processes that may require a bit more further investigation.